Dear friends, we are in session 5 and day 2. And today we talk a little bit about the adoration, the Eucharistic adoration. It says the church and the world have a great need of Eucharistic worship. Jesus waits for us in this sacrament of love. Let us be generous with our time in going to meet Him in adoration and in contemplation that is full of faith. This is St. John Paul II. So John Paul II is already telling us that, first of all, adoration helps us and guides us into contemplation. And adoration is time spent with Jesus, time spent alone. So first of all, we have to realize that the real presence of Jesus is there in the Eucharist. He is physical. Remember that He is something physical. The Spirit of God is invisible, is untouchable. But the body and blood of Christ is visible, is touchable, even though it doesn't look like a body, but it is a body. And it's important also to find out that this is a great opportunity to practice what we long for in contemplation. Although we cannot force the experience of contemplation even in the Adoration Chapel, we can practice a proper disposition for receiving that gift. So adoration is almost like the entrance, the beginning of contemplation. We should learn. And remember, adoration is important to observe two things: silence and listening. Silence, because sometimes we are afraid of being without anybody, without talking, without noise. If we don't hear any noise for 10, 15 minutes, we wonder what's happening, because we are not used to silence. So try to practice that. Second is listening. When we go to adoration, we don't have to keep saying things or playing music. No. Many times we should learn how to stay still in silence in front of the Blessed Eucharist. Because there then we allow God to come into us. We allow God to talk to us. We allow God to transform us. The Catechism says, the choice of a favorable place is not a matter of indifference for true prayer. The silence and peace of an adoration chapel provides a favorable place. Yes, that's why, for instance, we keep the Blessed Sacrament disposed all day when there is nothing going on in the church. So people can come in, sit down, and stay sometimes in silence and peace with the Lord. So adoration is the anticamera, is the entrance, the beginning of contemplation. Here, St. John Paul II to the young people and seminarians, he is saying a few beautiful things. First of all, he says we have to develop a personal relationship with God. That relationship is expressed in prayer. So prayer is number one, especially Lectio Divina is number one. But then he says there is another aspect of prayer which we need to remember, which is silent contemplation. That's important. St. John, for example, tells us that to embrace God's revelation, we must first listen, then respond by proclaiming what we have heard and seen. And then third, it says, have we perhaps lost something of the art of listening? Do you leave space to hear God's whisper, calling you forth into goodness? Friends, do not be afraid of silence and stillness. Listen to God, adore Him in the Eucharist. So this is important for us to really develop that way of trying to develop this way of silent Eucharistic adoration. But then basically adoration is love. When you like to spend time in the Eucharist, in the church, by yourself, then you can really express that love, feel the love of God. And you know that love is the foundation of contemplation. Let me conclude with a beautiful quotation again from John Paul II. It is pleasant to spend time with him, to lie close to his breast like the beloved disciple, and to feel the infinite love present in his heart. If in our time Christians must be distinguished above all by the art of prayer, how can we not feel a renewed need to spend time in spiritual conversation, in silent adoration, in heartfelt love before Christ present in the most holy sacrament? Good. Adoration is so important, so beautiful, so necessary. So let us try it. Come, spend some time in silence with the Eucharistic sacrament of love. Bye-bye.